So you were telling me a little bit about the store in New York,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to talk
Yeah.
about it too
Yeah.
much because I want to talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Um, so when is well, why don't you tell me it's the target what the target open date is and like the layout and what you're going to be doing there and why you're doing it.
Yeah. 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 So we're opening up a store. The 262 Mott. So it's like Mott and Houston. Um, it used to be the old Fjellraven store. It's like um, they had effectively one store, but it was two spaces that they sort of made into one. So we sort of the landlord put the wall back in, and we took a smaller space. It's like 500 square feet. By the time the build out happens, it'll be about 380. So it's quite pretty small. Um, 23-foot frontage, so it's nice and wide. Um, and we're looking to open in, I think, like June. The week of the 16th is the target date to open, like soft open.
Yeah,
And
soon.
then, yeah, soon. Yeah. And then we're trying to figure out some sort of like opening party for maybe in July.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's a ton of work.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
building anything and especially building something in Manhattan seems fraught with potential disaster.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I mean obviously we've never done a store, so it's just finding contractor, finding the designers are from Paris. They're great, but it's just like sourcing all of this stuff that is EU spec, and you might not be certified for the US. And yeah, it's just a huge hassle. Like, but it's finally coming together, and it's the floor is in, getting done. Next week is electrical, and then yeah, just sort of like week by week, big pieces are coming together. So I guess that's how it always is, right?
Well, it seems like
Yeah.
the last like 5 or 10% of any project seems to take as long as the first 90. Just like getting
Yeah.
everything finished, especially getting it done the way you want it and not just having people slap stuff together.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that there's not a huge amount of touch ups, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, the space is so small, but there's like 48 lights in the ceiling,
Yeah,
and
it's a lot.
I mean, it's a lot.
It's not small, it's efficient.
Yeah, the issue is it's like doing a store. You need to learn about like the lumens of each light and how much it produces and how many you need for each, in a certain square footage. Every few feet you need this much. The grand total needs to be between like 18 and 24,000. And when you actually calculate that up, it's like 40 to 60 lights. I mean, it's a lot.
That's a lot.
So typically in a store, unless it's, really, really well done, I don't think they're that well lit. So
Yeah. No, probably not. And I think that's interesting. I never really thought about, especially in a store that has leather products, like the temperature of the lights and the colors of the walls and everything else. Like that all affects how the product reads when you're in the store. Like if the lights are too cool and then someone buys something and then they go out and it's in the sunlight, it's gonna look like it's a different color.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So hopefully the Horween colors are all correct.
Always. They're always all dead on. No matter the light.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You have to choose the temperature of the light, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I think it's a lot, gaining a lot more respect for things that I overlooked in the past, and it sort of will change the way that I look at retail in general going forward.
Yeah, I mean me too, just after this conversation. That's good. So is the store going to be a platform for like special like exclusive stuff and like the sample sale and like stuff like that, or is it just going to be just sort of like a retail outpost where people can come and see stuff? Do you have any specific plans that would deviate from like a normal retail front?
Yeah, I mean, I think firstly we're just trying to get a place where people can see the full collection. I mean, it's becoming harder and harder to, to expect a retailer from a wholesale perspective to actually buy into what you want them to buy, and also just to carry that much inventory. So it's, it'd be nice to have a place where somebody can come see everything, and then there will be exclusive stuff for the city, for that store. And the idea of trying to do some sort of made to order type system. I mean, we haven't really figured it out yet, but realistically, some sort of different tiers, and try to have like a foot scanner to do your own last and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the store is not big enough to have a lot of space, like for like a sample sale or something like that. And then maybe do some apparel, some sort of outerwear collaboration stuff, some just collaboration type stuff. But yeah, it's mostly just like a platform to sort of introduce all the product that we have online that you can't really you can't see it anywhere else. And our online is good, but it's shipping from Canada is super expensive, and so right now our shipping cost is like ridiculously high. And it's all the new product that we make, all of it sells at a different capacity, but it's hard to expect the customer to sort of take the risk when we don't necessarily give the best policies online, just because of the size of the company and everything else. So it'll be good just to sort of have that in person.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I guess the only option to try, you have to find a store that carries your stuff, and then try to find out the last to try it on, and then what you're going to order online based on trying something on, which I'm sure whatever retail store has just fit you, just not super excited about, just like fitting you to buy something else. Right. Do you still have a store at the factory?
Yeah, we have yeah, go ahead.
No, I used to have more work oriented store, right?
Yeah, right now it's like a disaster zone, because we have like an office. So we have the manufacturing building office in there with a small retail, and then we have like an offsite warehouse and e-com office that we're sort of condensing into the one space now. So the current retail is basically filled with it looks like shoe warehouse or something. It just looks terrible. But effectively, yeah, it's to sort of serve the local community of like blue collar worker safety. We sell Blundstone, and I mean, it's sort of everything. But we also sell some like factory seconds of the stuff that we're producing.
Do you still do like the real logger, like lineman stuff like that too, like the real work oriented stuff?
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's not like the priority, just because we're like busy with other stuff. But I mean, it's we do have stuff coming through. It's it's more like there's a sort of like an ongoing list of like product that people want to order, and we just sort of when we have capacity, that's sort of our go-to. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty sporadic. It's like, every quarter we probably do stuff, but I mean, the volume is pretty low. Right. So, and the other thing is it'd be like you guys, I mean, you already have a huge portfolio of leather, different tannages that you do. But I think that it's like to do a heavy oil tan, heavy product, it's sort of, you like us, you guys share the same workers for different types of processes. And so I think it's the more that you add in industrial type product into an environment that is more, that needs to be a bit softer and a bit more delicate, you sort of reduce the quality of the stuff that you're focused on doing by bringing in something that's a bit more utility or utilitarian. So for us, it's like the moment that you bring an industrial product into the production line, mixed in with, could be cordovan or calfskin or something like that. Same operator, same whatever, but the mentality automatically, the IQ automatically drops.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, do you have to set the equipment significantly differently for that heavier stuff?
Not really. I mean, it's just, it's not really setting it. It's like, for example, if you're like toe lasting something and there's pinchers, it's a matter of knowing that if you're pulling, let's say cordovan, you can only pull it so far and then it's gonna, it'll rip or break or something. Whereas if you're doing like a heavy logger oil tan, I mean, it has a lot in there that just sort of allows it to keep going. And also you can heat it up and you can do a million things to it. So, yeah, it's just sort of like people reverting back to their old ways of doing something. I actually had a talk with Schuyler about this because he's got Brandel and then he's got his Nicks, and just saying how complicated it is to get, like, the amount of time that it takes to slow down and do the Brandel product, and only a few people can do that. Yet they're trying to hit the production numbers I guess maybe he's got like production targets to get bonuses or something. But yeah, he was just saying like it's really hard to sort of balance that premium product in a industrial environment.
Right. Yeah, that's a problem we run into also. And I think that because we're all in our given world, like the boot world, the tannery world. I think we're all, by all I mean like Viberg and Nicks / Brandel and Horween, we're all small producers. So like people look to us or to you for high quality stuff. We still have to be efficient. So there's that intersection point of quality and efficiency, that because you can slow way down and make great stuff, but then you just get killed because you're not making enough of it, or you speed up and you're making a ton of garbage. So it's like, where's that point where you're making enough pairs of color grade service boots, but you're not breaking any of them because like you said, like a logger type leather, which I assume is chrome tanned and designed to be really resistant. You can abuse that differently through the manufacturing process by heating it and lasting it and steaming it and whatever, versus cordovan, which if you do any of it, you do any of those things, the cordovan you're gonna scorch it and then tear it, pop it. So it's a challenge to try to, and so like the mentality, the switch in the mentality from I need to treat something delicately to then to make a like an industrial product, like that transition is easy, but then to go back to I need to be careful again is not so easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really worth it. And I would say it's more like the stupidity of somebody like setting it down on its side, or like if you've got, from an operator standpoint, if you're operating a machine, heel lasting, toe lasting, whatever the machine, whatever that operation is, the machine's, the operator is just operating, the machine is doing the work. But after that, the way that they treat it, or the way that they put it on the rack, or the way that they accidentally drop it, it's those things that sort of slowly add up that will affect when you actually switch back to doing something that's needs a bit more care.
Right. Yeah. And there's one thing, because you told me, I don't know, on one of your visits, that you guys use all brass nails for everything. And I think you said like it's really annoying to use brass because if you drop them, you have to pick them up. You can't use a magnet. Yeah. And like it's just like it's all of those little things where it's like, yeah, so it's great. I'm just going to use brass, but then like they're more expensive, and then you're dropping them all over the floor, and then nobody wants to bend over and pick them up. It's like it's all those little things that add up that I think that people don't appreciate, that makes products different, and like all of those just like little steps and choices that you make, which make things day-to-day life may be a little bit more difficult, but make the product better in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's related to I mean, because with a shoe or a piece of leather, you're looking at it from a consumer standpoint, just like superficially. So it's like unless you cut the shoe open or take it apart like an onion, you can kind of see. You need to see it layer by layer. If you cut it in half, uh, which happens
I've
sometimes,
never heard of that.
um, yeah. So if you cut it in half, you're not really comprehending how it goes together to really see like what makes a difference. You're sort of bypassing a lot. You still see like a leather sandwich, but you don't necessarily see what 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 the order was in and sort of like everything. Anyways, but my point is that um, like leather and footwear is like everything's internal. Like the life of the leather is something that you put into it over time, and you can't necessarily comprehend that unless you understand like that there's a process to like how it like never mind the color or the finish. That's like the last step, but it's actually the stuff that's inside, right? And I think most people don't look at footwear that way, or leather for that matter. So I think, yeah, I mean, to the point of like brass nails or anything that we're doing that people don't see. I think it just, I don't know if they care or not, but um, if they're not somewhat educated, like a manufacturer using cordovan, they'll toast it. And so like, the toes and the counters, like everything's leather in the shoe. So if you get it wet and you take it off and you squish the toe, it'll dent the toe because it's leather, right? You can reshape it, but it will in fact uh, deform because you intentionally pushed it down, right? So it's not delicate when it's being worn, but there's ways to sort of wreck it if you're not educated enough.
Hmm. This sounds like this is something that's happened before.
Yeah, I mean it happens a fair bit. I
Yeah.
mean, because technically you should put shoe trees in it just to keep the shape, keep it aired out, and all that other stuff. But if you're it's one thing to be making a product that, like a Stitchdown product is very robust, it's very strong. And then if I add all of these elements into it that are more, not really for that type of product because I'm putting leather toes and stuff that would be in like a traditional dress shoe, I guess. But the mentality of the person wearing it is that it's tough and strong. Then you have like this interesting, like you're at a crossroads of like how do you sort of educate on that and still get the message across
Right.
without you know
So if that happens, if someone does that to a shoe and they email
yeah.
you, what's the solution for it?
um well, I think mainly it comes down to like they would get it. And yeah, I mean it's really just education on like, look, if there's an issue you can resolve it. It's more like I feel like the expectation is sort of that uh that they shouldn't have to fix it, or they don't want to, or they want a replacement, or like they're buying it because it's limited or small quantity or whatever the storyline is that they're buying it from. And yet when they buy it, the consumer behavior is to then treat it like it's a corporate conglomerate that can just replace it, not understanding that it's a very small company. And like with a little bit of understanding, that can be remedied without having to sort of just replace it when it's not really an issue. And I'm sure it's the same thing with the leather. It's like you sell to these really shitty companies, like big ones. I won't mention them because I'm not going to wreck your customers. But and it's like, you listen to these stories of your dad and John talking about it, and I'd be like, dude, just tell these people to fuck off. Like they're corporate people that don't own the brand, that are just part of the system, and they're trying to dictate these things when they don't really understand that you're not a big company, you're family owned, and like, yeah, your values don't line up with theirs. So
There's some of that happens from time to time. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how it's those, it's an interesting position with those customers because we end up being like a tiny, tiny little like insignificant part of their supply chain. And at times, like when big customers, big companies come in and they end up, they can end up being a pretty sizable customer for us. So there's sort of like this disconnect where, we like they're, uh, it was a different kind of mentality. It's a different approach based on the difference in the company sizes. But yeah, I think that my job is a little different than yours because we have, whatever, 90 customers, and you have, I don't know, 50,000. Like how many customers do you have?
No, man, I don't know. Not that many. I mean, it's
you must have like there must be more than 50,000 people with Viberg boots out there though. Like there's a lot. So it's just like it's a different, like just the customer service aspect of it is completely different. So that's always something that, we've got that like little, whatever, retail shop part of our website. And it's like always mostly sold out because it's like the customer service part of it is a big deal. It takes a lot. I don't have to tell you that. Like it's a lot of stuff. But so if someone wets their shoes, they get their toe wet and then they jam their thumb into it and they let it dry and it's got a big dent in it. So we just got to just re-wet the shoe and put a tree in it and see, re-wet the whole toe and then put the tree in and let it dry. I mean, that's what, if someone came to me, that's what I would say, try this first.
Yeah. I mean, it's I mean, you don't need to put you don't need to put the tree in it. You just literally just put your hand in there and push the fucking thing back up. I mean, it's because it's only going to go so far, right? The shoe is made, so it's not like there's extra. It's not like you got liposuction and you have extra skin. I mean, it's tight, right? So the shoe tree, unless it's like a lasted shoe tree, like the one that is the same shape as the last, maybe then it's perfect. But otherwise, if it's like a wood lower one, it won't get into the toe anyways. Like it'll allow it to air out and it'll keep the integrity, but it's not going to like match 100%. But yeah, just get it wet and push it back into place and let it dry out naturally without too much assisted heat. Because like when we make the shoes, we do everything cold. Like the leather's wet, it goes in. The counter is wet, it goes in. We have a humidifier that we use just to get stuff wet. I mean, it's cold, but it goes overnight and it just makes things wet and then we just last it. So, yeah.
So you're not even you're not even wetting stuff. You're putting it. You've got you're putting tomorrow's production in something overnight to get it ready.
Yeah. We have Amazon greenhouse kit that is fitted around a shoe rack that is hooked up to an Amazon humidifier that we duct tape together and
whatever works.
Whatever works. Yeah. And then, the leather counters and toes go in a bucket of water and, you don't need to leave them in too long to get them wet enough to mold. And then away you go.
That's still more scientific than it could be. I mean, at least you're setting it to a percentage. So whatever time of year it is, like you're not going to under or over humidify it, I guess, if it's that. I need to come visit. I still haven't been out to your place. Where did you go on your last trip? Because you travel a lot.
For work?
Yeah, well, I know you were in Hawaii, right?
Yeah. We're in Hawaii. I was just in Mexico. I got back last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What were you doing down there?
Well, it was a long weekend, and then I had my birthday down there. And
happy birthday!
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, besides that, in New York a few times. It's like you guys. I mean, it's like you have the leather show, so you have like for us, it's like one more added set of shows. So you have like material show that you can go to, whether it's going to be Milan or there's a material show in Portland or in Leon, there's a show. And then if you want to sort of sell to retailers, then you have all those other options of other shows that you can show at. So it's, once you sort of buy into that travel cycle, you're sort of fucking yourself over for the future. Like, because once you buy in, you sort of have to keep showing up and stay relevant. I mean, unless you get so big, but you still do something. So it's sort of I don't know when is the first time that you went to do Milan, or I guess it was Bologna, right?
It was Bologna. Yeah, it was 2009.
Yeah.
And it was in Bologna, which I liked. I preferred when it was in Bologna. I thought it was more fun. I mean, from a non-leather standpoint, I thought it was more fun, but yeah, that's a massive show. I mean, like you talk about being like realizing how small you are in the industry. Like we're in one little corner of like one of the giant halls, and we even share a booth with another tannery. So it's like it's like we split it, and it's like it's kind of a miracle. I feel like that's that people even like find us. I mean, unless they know, people know we're there, so will come see us. But I don't really feel like anybody's finding us by accident. But
well, I think it goes back to like it's like us. If we show it, like we showed at Pidiolmo, and it's like a fucking monster of a show, and a shoe just looks like a shoe when you walk by. So like, unless somebody actually has time to investigate,
right,
or gives a shit, or wants to take out their phone rather than taking a selfie, and actually search something and learn something. But I would say that most people are just too lazy and just sort of they congregate where it's most busiest, I would say. So it's like you're better off to have like a hired model on your stand just so it attracts people, so you attract more people. I mean, that's kind of like how it is,
Is that a show that you guys do?
Yeah, we do it. It's just, we did it in the summer. No, we did it in the winter. It was good. It's all about placement though. It's like it's so big that if you're down, way down in the glory hole, you're just, people just walk by. And so I think you need to be, you need to be like right where the food is, and sort of like front and center. And even if it's just like a window shopping experience just to get the brand out there, it's more, I would say you do it more as a marketing experience than really to try to convert a sale, and sort of introduce a new product. And then ideally you then do another show that actually is a bit more business focused. It's that being said, there's tons of Italian accounts that only do that show that you've never heard of, and we've met a bunch of them. But it's just to do it in the summer, it's so hot, and just it's just not like you guys. It's not cheap. So you got to fly all your shit there, and it adds up.
You got to get a booth by an exit, and then you can hand out Viberg branded lighters and cigarettes. Exactly. That'll get people in. You just get free loosies on the way out. You get a lighter, and then you can go take a smoke break, and then think about what the logo you're looking at, and then come back and look at boots.
I was thinking like more like a selfie stick. Yeah. It's an incredible show because they charge you to get in, and I think strategically they do it to allow in press, which is essentially like an influencer. So you can pay like 50 euros for the day or whatever it is, and come in and shoot a bunch of photos on the stairs with everybody else, and sort of look relevant in terms of whatever that it is in your world. So
where does that money go? Into the show,
into the Italians' pockets.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Right where it belongs. That's funny. Yeah. So why did you pick New York for the store?
The U.S. is our biggest market, and like New York, and East Coast is sort of like the strongest area. Just I think based on weather, and LA is good. Like California is great. It's just, to me, um, it's a very trend driven market in terms of sort of like how they dress. It's a lot of, it depends. I mean, you have a lot more European influence within New York, and a little bit more of an educated buyer, and maybe more conservative. Maybe obviously you have like street fashion and stuff, but I feel like LA is just so casual, and it's for us it'd be really hard to, maybe something small would work, but I think New York, and also it's like New York is its own ecosystem. It's sort of no matter what's happening in the U.S. Politically or whatever, it sort of has its own thing going on. Yeah. So
So is New York City a strong market for you? Even inside the East Coast, is New York a strong market
for e-commerce? Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from a retail perspective, it was, when, we used to sell to like Barney's and stuff, but it's now sort of, for men's retail, I would say I don't know, there's like less than a handful of stores. So
less than a handful of brick and mortar stores like in New York that are like worth visiting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just everything's changed and people went out of business, and
right.
I'm talking like before, maybe 2016, pre 2016, 2015, from like 2008 till then, I think. And then it was like sort of a hot spot of like a lot of retailers, and yeah. And now, and I think a lot of people look at New York and want their own, their own flagship. They want their own, they want to, they don't want a multi-brand store. They want everything's mono brand. So it's just, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you have like Standard and Strange and these guys, but they're far and few. Also, there's not many of those guys.
So we'll just stick to New York. Who in New York is carrying your product at this point?
Nobody.
Nobody?
Yeah, we don't have anybody. Yeah.
Oh, well, then you're not going to be taking anybody's business away.
No. Yeah. Nobody. So yeah, I mean, it's changed. I mean, COVID changed it a lot, but I think it was already changed before it got to that point. It just sort of exposed a lot of maybe on less from more from the perspective of like how much retail actually costs, and COVID sort of flatlined some of that stuff by making the opportunities to have a mono brand store. A lot of brands opened up during that time with being able to get a cheaper lease and stuff like that. And now it's sort of, with great timing, we decide to open a store after that phase has long passed. But yeah, I think, I don't know. It's a multi-brand boutique retailer in a global sense. There's not many, right. At least in sort of the type of store that we would be selling to, or that would want to sell our brand,
I should know the answer to this, but does having a physical store in the US, other than having a place to inventory or have inventory and have product, is there a benefit to you from like a shipping or custom standpoint to having a physical location here? I mean, even if it doesn't have to even go to the store, I guess that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, like right now you have this like on again, off again, tariff issue, with
very light way to put it.
with for some reason, like right now, we're still part of I think it's called CUSMA for Canada, Canadian, whatever. And then in the US it's called something else. So we're still part of like this free trade thing, but because it was not on the table originally when everybody sort of just got body slammed, I think the buyers are just so confused. I mean, they're so scared of like, I think they're scared because they know people that might have, they know people that knew people that got charged and paid like a fucking huge amount of money on something. And so I think that there's a lot of people that just aren't buying in general, I think. And, anyway, so for us, I think by having a place where it's already landed and you can buy it and there's no issue,
Right.
would be helpful. Or if you had like 3PL for the US, where it's already in the country. And the shipping cost would be like, like our actual cost to ship is like more than $50 Canadian, to get it into the US. I mean, it's like crazy high. I mean, I think even to ship it within the US to Canada is going to be expensive. But if you're domestically in the US, there's a lot of options that you can use. So
yeah, it's probably a quarter of that.
Yeah. And like, where we are, we're on an island and there's no such thing as like overnight. You're lucky to get 3-day on DHL. It's just the way it is. You're just sort of hung out to dry. I mean, I think in general, that's how it is in Canada. There's just not enough. You have this giant landmass and not enough people. So there's just like,
Yeah. Yeah. I was listening to some news program and there was a guy who had just developed a line of like luxury desk chairs, and they were all made in China. And they were going to be selling for like $990 or whatever they were, and they were ergonomic and they were going to be amazing. And they're like just finishing them now. And then then all of this tariff stuff comes in, and he's like, well, the price is like, I've already committed to the price at this price to these retailers. And then now not only am I not going to make money, I'm going to lose money if I deliver the products because of everything. And he's like, and I could get them, on a container on a boat, and while they're on a boat in transit, it could change. Like, I don't know how you do a business like that. I mean, the answer is you can't plan anything. It's very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was texting with Shyler, and he was about the tariffs and stuff, and he was saying that like they're getting Dr. Sole heels in Dr. Sole, the soles and the heels, and like I guess the cost is now like astronomical, like it's super super high. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I mean it's whatever. It is what it is.
Do you like the Dr. Sole stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we're using a lot of the heels for like a leather sole. I like it. I don't like the branding. I mean, I don't. It's not that I don't like the name. I just don't like just like plastered logos and shit on stuff because we don't do that on our stuff. Right. So I feel like it's it's kind of gimmicky at that point. I think the product is really, really good. The molds are really good. The compounds that they use are fantastic. But I mean, we use it. I mean, we use that. I would say that's like the second. We do like Day and Night or Ridgeway, and then probably Dr. Sole is like the second out of those, or third after those two.
Do you think the Day and Night Ridgeway stuff is that the stuff that you like the most?
Yeah, I mean, it's just that it's well, there's no other option. I mean, I guess that's what it comes down to. I mean, unless you want to open your own mold and design something, I think that it's sort of like a low profile, functional, like all weather type. It's like if you compare it to like a car tire, it's like all weather. It's on every car, right, like that kind of thing. And then, if you get into like the Vibram, whatever, it's more industrial built. So it's built for a purpose. So if you try to apply that to something else, it's like a chunkier tire on a different type of car. So it just doesn't really work.
Right.
So, but if that's the aesthetic that you want, then I think it's great. But the thing about Vibram is that they've branded the shit out of that as well. So it's like sort of, it's a great brand. Their branding to me is overdone and sort of embarrassing because it's just everywhere. And even like on the running shoe soles that we use is sort of it's intentionally placed there, and it's not humbled or subtle. It's sort of like they've strategically built the brand like Gore-Tex has built their brand.
Mhm.
And so now they want to do collaboration with the brand with, it's like it's they're trying to take it to a different level, and they are doing it like Gore-Tex. It's just it's not very appealing for me. I mean, it's
Not as subtle.
yeah.
Right. All right. So if you were going to make a shoe or a boot, and in a way that you wanted to show someone like what the best, like the pinnacle of your product would be, like what combination of products is that, like leather, construction, bottom, what does that spec look like in your brain right now?
I think it has to be more formal. It has to be Goodyear welted. It needs to be with a leather sole, and sort of, the last needs to be a bit more refined and like contoured or sculpted, to have shape that then allow the next step to have shape. Because if you have a last that doesn't have shape, and as it goes down the line, it just becomes shapeless, right? There's no, it's like sculpting a turd. I mean, you can do it. It's just at the end of the day, it's still a turd.
Right.
So, yeah, because what we're talking like from a technical standpoint where you're only making a shoe, right? I mean, it's just a shoe. You can make it any way you want it. But when you start to refine it and challenge the more that you challenge each individual operation, it's not about making it heavier or stronger. Like there's only so much that you can do, and you've sort of plateaued. But if you elevate that and look at something that's more elegant or has shape that demands more attention to detail, more craft, then I think that's what you have to do, right? And so when you do a stitch down product, there's only so much that you can do to this product, that to elevate it, because it by nature of that construction, you're always going to be limited with that construction type.
Right. So you're talking about on your website, like I'm just looking at your website right now. So if someone wanted to go and see what you're talking about, they would look at like the refined collection, or a portion of the icons.
Yeah, icons are or the refined, and yeah, it's just because when you get into a welt, you have like storm welt, split welt, flat welt, the triple welt, whatever you have. It's like there's a million options. You can do a 360, you can do a 270, and when you do a stitch down, literally once you stitch that vamp down to the midsole, I mean you could probably hand stitch it and do chain stitch and all this kind of stuff that is like a dog and pony show, which would look cool. But at the end of the day, it's the exact same thing that's been dressed up a bit, and you're really, really limited to the shape that you can do just by nature of the style of construction.
Right. So do you think that the word that came to my mind was infatuation, but do you think that the appeal of Stitchdown is versus Goodyear welt is correct? Like I know they're different and they look different, but beyond that, is there much of a distinction that people should be making? Like I mean, I know one's more rugged. One is has the opportunity to be much more refined looking than the Goodyear welted product. But in terms of performance, like are there trade-offs that people should be aware of?
I mean, from a guy, man, I don't know, because I mean, I'm not
You sell both.
I'm not like,
Yeah,
they're
both good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in the bush, a stitch down, I guess, can function and it can wick away the water, but I mean, I mean, if you're going to be in water, you're probably not going to want any traditional like shoe. You're going to want like injection molded. That's totally waterproof. Like why would you just fuck around with something that's not, it's just going to be like a lead weight on your feet. So, but yeah, it's but to your point of like, there's not really a better or worse. There's really shitty Goodyear welt and there's really shitty Stitchdown. You have like Clark's desert boots that are made for a price point. You have, Danner does Stitchdown in Vietnam that are made for a price point. They then do the made in USA product that is with a PU midsole. It's all foam Stitchdown, Gore-Tex membrane. The product's okay. I mean, it's well made, but it's definitely not a full leather midsole product. But
like the
they
hiker.
do that. Yeah, the hiker and probably some of the military stuff, but they're doing it because it needs to be all glued together to keep the membrane intact without putting nails into the heel, right? So as soon as you nail the heel, you're going to puncture the membrane and it won't obviously won't be waterproof. Yeah. So yeah, I just think it depends on I think the idea is that they think that the Stitchdowns are, I think because you have the visual of that super beefy midsole, and so it looks thicker, and also like the lip on it, like the lip where the double row stitching is, it's like it's wide, so it has a certain appeal. But I mean, you could do a welted product with the same midsole and same outsole and put 2 rows of stitching on it, and it would effectively be the same thing. I mean,
right.
It's much more complicated to make a welted product than it is a Stitchdown. Just by nature of how it's done. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Are there any companies, or is there a company? Maybe there's just one company out there making shoes or boots that you're like, wow, those are really amazing.
I don't know. Not from like start to finish. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for different elements, there's a lot. I mean, from like the finishing or
right.
Some specific detail, but in terms of like still trying to keep the integrity of the product internally, you'd have to go to like what we do on a regular basis with our welted stuff is very similar to the process and same materials as like a bespoke product. The insole that we use is a channeled insole, but it's also oak bark tanned. It's exactly like the stuff that they use for the bespoke, but it's but it's our aesthetic might not please the guy that wants, that would what the guy that appreciates that stuff might not like our aesthetic. That's my point, right? So it's like, how do you sort of drum up a product that sort of can appeal to a wider audience,
Right. Yeah. It's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, I mean, when we sort of like made these collections like in 2019, 2020 to sort of allow me to have more clarity when sort of developing product and giving it a home, and sort of having an end user in mind of sort of like how you would wear it, so like the terrain collection is just hiking boot product, this type of stuff. So it's pretty obvious. The city collection is more soft soled, like a sneaker and stuff like that. So it's I think the more that I'm able to sort of view it like a car manufacturer, and you sort of categorize it, and then from that you can build out each model, each option, and each color, and then sort of keep it organized. It allows you to sort of span across the line and sort of have a line through between everything.
I'm just looking at your website. I got to send you some samples. Get some more of our stuff on there.
Yeah, I think for this coming spring, summer 26, I think I've got a lot of your stuff coming. I did some wax / latigo in a lighter weight, so I applied that to a bunch of product. It looks great. I've got I sent some cuttings to that I think it's going to be like some sort of cypress, maybe with a different
I
type
saw
of
'em, yeah.
wax finish and something like this. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to get more involved with you guys if you can get. The issue with the seasonal collection is that the delivery has to be sort of within a window, and
That is an issue for us at times.
well, you're good. I think that when I started doing these collections, it was going into like COVID and stuff, and it was like disaster. And so we did a lot more with CF Stead, which do great leather, but they're just yeah. I don't know if they keep stuff in crust or how they can turn around some of this. You know, their turnaround time is like they're pretty impressive. So
yeah, they do. They run stuff partially. My understanding
Yeah.
is they run stuff. They partially, like, they stop it before dyeing and retanning, so they've got kind of a head start on stuff, which is a fantastic way to do things if you can do it. But yeah, deliveries are. I mean, I think we talk about it every podcast. Like it's been tough in terms of. I mean, for some things like cordovan, it's raw material, and then it's personnel. It's just like we've got these bottlenecks where we can't seem to get enough product through because we can't get people to show up, which is so frustrating. But that doesn't help. That fact doesn't help get leather to you. So we're aggressively trying to resolve and improve that, because it's a people, no one wants to wait. I mean, there's sort of like an acceptable lead time for leather, and I would say that sometimes we drop out of that acceptable range, which doesn't help, especially like you said for seasonal stuff where you've got it's not like whatever black chrome XL that's always in line. Like you just need to make sure that you have it, and like if you know when it's coming, that's fine. But just this week I was talking to Carmina. Her name is Carmina, and she is like one of the Carmina family.
Yeah.
And she just called and she's like, we just really need more cordovan than you're sending us. Like we've got people that want to buy it, and we've got people that have been buying it from us for years, and we just can't. You're not sending us enough. And it's like I know, like it's not okay. Like we're not happy about it. But it's just like there's less horsehide out there, and just trying to get
answer
through.
to that. Yeah, the answer to that is if it's selling out, you need to raise your price. Because
maybe. Yeah, I mean,
well, if you can't get it, then I'm not talking about price gouging, but like at the end of the day, it's just if you can't get it and you sell out, then like, I don't know. It's just it's just the way it is. I mean, it's
you just keep raising prices until it. I haven't looked at by virtue of my employ. I don't often look at what shoes cost.
I mean, the thing about the pricing is that like it's a numbers game, right? I mean, if you were only making cordovan and you had it on, you had triple the amount of pits and they were all full, and I mean, the costs probably would come down. I mean, you'd be more efficient, right? And if you didn't have labor issues and everything else, and it's the same thing with footwear. It's like the more time that machine is on and doing that job, the cost is going to come down. And the more time that the machine is idle, then it's going to cost more money. So
cordovan might be the exception to that for us, at least. Like I think that I'm just looking at like so Carmina currently their cordovan boots are $1,050 on their US site.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot. But I mean, I think. I mean,
I don't know how big their production is, but I'm sure they're like 4 to 5 times bigger than us. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, those conversations are tough because like we want to be able to deliver more, and that just goes back into like the deliveries thing. But yeah.
But to the same extent, I mean, to build a business around a single product, or is sort of stupid, anyways. I mean, I'm not saying in them in general. I'm just saying, if you're, you're gonna make traditional suits or something, and you're only using, a certain kind of tweed from a certain weaver or whatever. I mean, you're sort of putting your eggs all in one basket,
Sure.
and it's like, yeah, we know that it sells. It's like we need more because it sells itself. That it's easy, right? But to sell calf or to sell something else is a lot harder because there's more of it. So you need to make sure your product is in and of itself better than, or your story or your brand is better than something else, because it becomes, I mean, once you level the playing field and you strip away all of the window dressing, and you just sort of look at it. I mean, there's a reason why somebody buys something over something else. And, it could be price, but a lot of it's, the brand and everything else. I mean, I would say that's probably more important than the material itself. It's just loyalty for some reason, right?
Yeah, I just went to their site, or I'm still on their site. And if you click on just men's shoes, they have 445 results. That's a lot. It's a big product line.
It would keep me up at night. Yeah.
That's just,
I mean, it's like Crockett.
Women's 222. So they've got, 650, 660 styles. It's a lot.
That makes you question how big their warehouse is. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's some made to order.
No, there is probably.
Yeah. So I like their stuff. I think it's
they make beautiful products.
Yeah.
Their finishing is fantastic.
Yeah, they do a nice job, because they don't, in that world, they, at least for cordovan, they don't really put any dye on. They just they're just and not to say there's anything wrong with that, but as we spend a lot of time working on that color, so it's nice, especially on the lighter colors, to just see that they just sort of go with the color, and that they just sort of embrace the color variation, which is I can appreciate. But
well, I think it depends on it's like talking to art. It's like they correct it because that's what the customer is expecting, right? I mean, I think it's
talking about Alden's finishing.
Yeah.
They darken the stuff.
Yeah, but it's consistent. I mean, that's the whole point. Yeah. I mean, if I think that if you had it like them, if you had a market like the Japanese, and knowing how challenging they can be at times, they want every single one to be identical.
Yeah.
And I think it's just I would say that to be able to make it consistently like that is like an amazing feat, to be able to do that. Because I mean, I don't know how, other than them, I don't know anybody else that's really doing that. And I mean, maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe it's just like, it's so hard to do, which I think it is.
Yeah, I've never seen, I think that's by design, I've never seen how they finish the shoes. They've never shared that corner of the factory with me.
I don't think it's the finishing. I think they restain it before the welt goes on. They restain it. Like, let's say color 8, they just restain it with some sort of burgundy to darken it. And
I've never seen that.
Yeah. And then basically they would shrink wrap it, put the welt on it, and then finish it.
Yep.
We'll do whatever. So yeah.
It's a lot. There's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
There's a lot of steps. I was gonna get into what it's like working in a family business, since that has changed for you, because you're the sole.
Oh yeah, we can go over this quickly. Yeah.
But your wife is working with you now.
Yeah. It's been great. I mean, I think she'd agree. It's great. It's just it's hard to uh, have to not bring it home with you. You know.
Sure. Yeah.
But in terms of like the effectiveness at work, you know, like there's no way that the New York store could ever happen without having her sort of actually handle like the business side of it. I mean, it was like super stressful for me to do like to handle the build, but there's no way that I could do any of the legal stuff to like set the businesses up. I mean, and then the paperwork and the organization. I mean, it's totally over my head. So, but yeah, I mean, it's effectively as of this year, we took over, or I took over, and then she sort of joined. But yeah, it's completely. So my parents are out completely, and yeah, I mean, it's just sort of like on to the next step, I guess.
Yeah. That's yeah, your wife's name is Emma. I met her a bunch of times.
Emma, yeah.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, so but I mean, before she had never worked in manufacturing before, right? Before she came, yeah, right.
She was she's French, so she was doing like real estate in Paris, and then moved to Vancouver, city of Vancouver, handling like their like private portfolio of land or whatever the hell they do, and then working for the provincial government for the same thing for property. So more brains than me, which is not hard to beat. Yeah.
Well, it's good. I mean, there are some people that are like, oh, I don't know, I could never work with my wife. I mean, I would have no problem. I think that I would feel like I was in charge less because she's much more focused than I am in a lot of ways, which is good.
Yeah.
But I guess that's you say like they say like you end up with someone that sort of has the opposite characteristics of you. So maybe that's a sign of someone that you should actually be doing work with. But yeah, I'm glad that that's working out.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I mean, as you know, it's like having a family business. I mean, you wear it on your sleeve. I mean, the worst part is like the product is your last name, and
yeah,
I mean that's a whole nother deep dive. I mean that's what I'm like so jealous that art is not, it's not Tarlo, right? That's his last name. So
right.
I mean it's like it's like the Alden name is just a name. I mean it's not his last name, and it's like fuck, I wish I had that. So it's just it's especially when you're out with people that appreciate your product and they talk about it as a product. It's hard to like talk about it at arm's length. It reminds me of just like sometimes I would listen to like K-Born talk about himself. They talk about the brand, but he's talking about like they take the product and they K-Bornize it and they do this stuff. And I'm like, how the fuck do you talk about this like that and not like laugh at yourself? Like because it's just so, it's hard to take it seriously when it's your last name, even though obviously it's a business. It's just weird, it
is weird.
It's not normal. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. It definitely does not feel normal. Yeah. And like, there's nothing worse than, I mean, because everybody does things at times that are not up to standard, but like to look at something that's, somehow made it out the door and into a product, and it's so clearly like something that like a mistake that we had made, and like, our names on it, and it's just like, this is not the product that we want to be putting out into the world.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that doesn't happen. It doesn't really happen. We end up catching this stuff internally, which is its own set of problems. But yeah, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah. I mean, because it's at the end of the day, you can get upset with your workers and stuff, but when you actually peel the onion back and look at it, it's probably a procedural thing that you didn't do, or and it's like, yeah, it's fucking burns.
It certainly does.
Yeah,
it does. All right. Well, Brett, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
I probably should have introduced you, but I didn't. This is why Phil's not here. So, hey, Phil, this is the Full Grain Podcast. Today I'm talking with Brett Viberg of Viberg Boot, founded in 1931. So, Phil, you can leave that at the end if you want to be super weird, or you can put it in the beginning.
You have a name to the podcast, so it's fine. You can just go right into the talking.
Yeah, Full Grain Podcast.
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks for listening.
That's all you need.